Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined tonight by Thousand Eyes, and we are here to bring y'all Gold League 1 Week 2, and we are finally about to get underway with picks and bans of Game 1 of Rawr versus Imperial Gaming. We have two teams ready to get underway. Both of them are hot off of a win from Week 1, and we are ready to get underway. Thousand, you ready to go?
I am ready to go. I am always excited about a Raw game because they're always very interesting. They're very fun and unique. How many other side nice things can I say about Rawr? No, Raw is always fun to watch and fun to cast. So I am excited here. And Imperial Gaming has always been a strong team in Zero Gravity Gaming. My brain is everywhere. But yeah, I am excited about this. This should be a pretty close matchup, but Imperial is a little bit favored on it.
Yeah, Imperial in the gaming, especially after, especially when we're talking about that pre-show that happened before the stream tonight. Imperial Gaming definitely up there in the power rankings. Has a whole lot of consistent effort. They play a whole lot together. They scrim a lot. This is a team that's very well coordinated. And sometimes, you have to have a team like Rawr to throw them a curveball, something that they're not expecting in order to pull out a win here. But we're just waiting and for just a little bit longer before we are ready to get things underway. But this is definitely looking to be a pretty good matchup between these two teams. I, for one, very excited.
Yeah, I am also ready to go as we should be starting the draft very quickly. There we go. Timer's gonna tick and we'll see what the bans are gonna be. If I remember correctly, everybody should be getting full bans. Nobody should be losing anything. So right out the gate, we're getting that Nico ban there.
Yep. That's going to be targeted at Azure Fire here. Azure Fire is Nico is one of their most played champions here. Imperial Gaming taking Yumi off the table for Shanna, the support of Rawr. This is a bunch of targeted bans across the board here, but I think one in particular that we need to see here is the Ornn ban. Rawr, as their top laner, Peter Griefer, will pick Ornn every day of the week the second that it is not banned.
Yeah,
So
and
if we do with first pick here, definitely has to be banned away by Imperial Gaming, but it looks like they're going to ban away the Ziggs here.
yeah, and you usually want to hold on to those bans, for those must-do bans for the last ones if you can, just see if they're going to possibly be banned. The Xin Zhao ban coming through still, despite the nerfs. He did get a little bit of a nerf there, and that should be really impactful on him. It is that base AD, and that is always a sizable chunk of a nerf, and the Tristana is going to be banned. The Ornn is available here. We'll see how Rawr are going to prioritize that, and as expected, I don't think they're going to take it immediately. They're probably going to get it in this first rotation here, but they definitely don't want to, use their first pick on it because nobody else is really playing the Ornn.
Yeah, I think that might be kind of fair to say. Actual Bird, not actually a person to really pick up the Ornn here. Definitely likes a lot more higher damage. Top laners here, more duelists, Aatrox, Quinn, Gwen, Mordekaiser. These are going to be champions that aren't exactly like the Ornn. Don't really like to fight early. Want to wait until level 13 and then start buffing up their team. Obviously, Ornn has some good early damage with the clap, but not as much as an Aatrox or a Gwen or even a Quinn.
Yeah, and the Diana also did get a nerf to her clear speed on the jungle camps, so it is going to be a little bit weaker than normal, but it's sticking with comfort, and it's also giving an opportunity for a jungle type of carry, which is always great to have. Sometimes when those junglers pop off, that is great. And here's the Anivia too. So this will be a very beefy front to back style of team already, and Rawr is just showing what they want to do before anybody is even prepared to build a comp against it.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, we have the Ornn locked in. This is definitely going to Peter Griefer in the top lane. 239 games this season, 60% win rate, 300,000 mastery, I believe it was. And that's some stats that you're just like, okay, yeah, you can have the Ornn, 100%. Yeah, it's yours. I'm one over. Some really good stats for someone to be picking up a very powerful character. It does also open up Shanna to be picking an enchanter or even a mage in the bot lane, which is what they usually like to play. So we'll have to see. Kennen is probably going to be the lane opponent. for the Ornn here, but we will have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will see that. The Kennen is an interesting pick into the Ornn. That is, you know, they are looking to play aggressive into this Ornn, and that's not something that generally works out very well. He does hit that scaling point pretty easily and does a lot more damage than a lot of other top laners will do at the time. I'm kind of surprised. One thing I'd kind of like to see is how well Tom Kench really goes up against him, because both of those are those tank, beefy, you know, frontline types of champions, but they also have pretty strong laning phases. As we do get through those second phase bans, we've got the Kayn and the Viego taking away any opportunity for carry junglers on the side of Rawr, and a lot of support focus from Rawr onto Imperial Gaming.
Yeah, Kessin we hear likes is the jungler, but has a lot of games recently in the mid lane. It does have some history with the Lee Sin, Kayn, Xin Zhao, and Viego, but a lot of them taken off the board here. 3 of those champions have been banned away, which leaves only Lee Sin here available. They're going to immediately lock that in, which means the last pick is probably the support. I'm not sure what they go for here. Seraphine is off the table. Rakan's off the table. Lulu did receive a whole lot of nerfs, but could be very strong in the right hands.
Now, I don't think the Lulu nerfs are that bad. It's an extra second on her W. Like, it's not really the end of the world. But it is definitely impactful, but it's very great against something like the Nocturne, who's going to dive in on you. You just polymorph them. You know, trying to time that spell shield is very, very difficult, and getting that kind of timing on it probably is not going to happen here. It is going to be the mid lane Nocturne here and the support Galio coming through. So it's going to be I'm not sure how I feel about the Galio, because I feel like there needs to be a little bit more immediate engage. I would have loved to see something like an Alistar that could then have the follow-up from the Diana and the Kennen and really set up a good wombo combo style of team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, between the Galio and the Kennen, like, we have 2 real good delivery services for this Galio here. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, having a strong initiator with the Kennen, with the Nocturne, Galio not really initiator themselves. You know, this is definitely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a fix real quick. Just give us a moment as
we are gonna have to remake the lobby because somebody, Oopsock Boss Man, not setting up the lobby correctly.
Yeah.
And now we're just gonna have to wait. So
yeah, we have a little bit more time to talk about the picks here. So yeah, definitely excited about this Galio pick. Galio is my favorite champion in the game. I love that big boy. He's so funny. And you know, I was already talking about it before. Kennen and Nocturne are your initiators. Galio, even though he has the punch in order to get a good initiation, it's really post level 6. He's better as kind of like initiation follow-up.
Exactly.
Like, once the fight has already started, Galio coming in with the heroic entrance is better than him using his own tools to initiate a fight.
Yeah, and not only that, but the Justice Punch is a very telegraphed engage. He winds up and then goes in. So it's not something that is very immediate. And when you're looking at the rest of the team there, yeah, the Nocturne can go in, but you don't want Nocturne to really lead on this. You want him to go in at the same time as everybody else. And the Galio's not going to be the one to do that because he's going to be ulting to follow. So who is your immediate engage from a CC perspective? And it has to be a flank from Kennen now. Whereas you got something like the Alistar, you can just flash and headbutt Paul of engage, and then you can have the Nocturne follow up on that, have Kennen then come in and get more CC down, have Diana then come in. There's a lot of opportunity in that, but the Galio is going to be the pickup. And I mean, I can understand why in some ways, but it is a little frustrating, I think, to see something that I think could have been a really great composition be neutered by maybe a lack of comfort on that type of champion. Meanwhile, I want to just talk about Rawr's. Rawr has a very kind of weird style of pick kind of composition here. It looks like a siege pick style as opposed to Imperial Gaming's like huge wombo combo. If Rawr can set up in front of these towers and use the Ezreal and the Anivia and just keep wave clearing and keep the pressure on, Imperial Gaming is going to have to really struggle to get these engages down and get a good start to a fight, or they're just going to slowly bleed out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they definitely have what I can see is to me is just a little bit more reactive, right? Ornn and Lee Sin are your most proactive in this team here, and Ezreal is definitely more flexible. But I feel like Lulu's abilities are definitely better for counteracting and engage. Ornn as well to a degree, and Anivia being able to single off initiators
Uh,
and be able for the team to focus them pretty early here is going to be very important for their team fight flow. I'll say flow is the first word that comes to mind.
as I will refresh, that is not the correct team names. I am aware of that. Trying to figure out what that is about. And I will get back to you on that one. Should be. Yeah, it is just not using the correct one, I guess. Well, apologies on that one. I will continue to look into that. But
lame.
we are getting through, and this is actually a mid lane Diana and a jungle Nocturne, so this is interesting. Not
Okay.
I think what I was expecting to see. I think it gives a little bit more pressure onto the Anivia. Not going to be able to really fish for those stuns. You're going to have to keep it to keep yourself safe if Diana wants to dive on you. As soon as that Anivia stun goes through and does not hit Diana, that's an opportunity to get a trade pre-6 where Diana usually struggles on that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be real tough to lane against Anivia here, in my opinion. I think, especially now with Diana having the dive at level 3, I think that's important. But like, I think she really lacks the burst damage to really pressure the Anivia early. I think the other thing is that Anivia can just pick up an Emerald Circlet and then just ignore Diana for the rest of the laning phase. And then once level 6 happens, just kind of keep a million miles away from her, and then Diana will never be able to actually do anything. So
Yeah. Yeah, so now we do have the picks locked in, and we will be counting down. Just taking a look at this with Rawr, their composite. It's interesting to see the Lee Sin here too, because Lee Sin is just famously kind of that early game style of fighter, and everybody on Imperial Gaming has some solid early game. Everyone on Rawr just wants to scale. So
yeah.
it what it says to me is that they're looking to try and snowball this, get somebody ahead early, and get their scaling online, and then play around that. I do see that there is the cleanse being taken on the Ezreal. I think that's a great pickup there, and that will help keep Ezreal alive as these as these Kennen ults, these Ashe ults and Galio stuns are coming through. Just add that in with the slipperiness of the Ezreal, and then you've got the quad TPs in this game, so there's a lot of action that can happen in this bot lane early. It's just going to be, is that going to be favored for Imperial or Rawr?
Man, it's certainly interesting. I think that in terms of early game, I think Lee Sin's clear like both of these Lee Sin's early clearing is going to be a lot harder because of the nerfs to the Omni Vamp on his shield.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be full health by the time he comes out with the Iron Will anymore. That's now 5% Omni Vamp at level 1, and that means that just having the earlier clears is he's gonna be coming out of the jungle with a little less HP. So he's still going to be able to he's still gonna have early power in terms of damage. Whether he's going to be full HP by the time he comes out of the jungle, that's gonna be yet to be seen. In these first early levels, I think I want to give it to Galio and Ashe in this bot lane here because they just have better earlier levels. But Lulu can stop a lot of the damage that Galio can do, and that's basically all of the damage that bot lane has, because Ashe doesn't really do as much damage as other AD carries, especially early on.
Yeah, it is a bit of a struggle on that end, but it can be really potent when you do have, the amount of people that can come to that bottom side. Early TPs are going to be heavily favored for Imperial Gaming, not because their bot lane is going to have a lot of damage, but because the Anivia and Ornn TPs are not going to be super impactful pre-6. If Diana and Kennen get down there, yeah, their level 6 is nuts. It's great. But it's not as important to them getting damage down and being a threat as opposed to Anivia and Ornn being able to have those ults and contribute to a team fight that happens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll have to see how this later game plays out. I definitely see a lot of these characters really wanting to scale. Lulu has traditionally been a character that is better later on, just because of how the scaling on her shield, her polymorph work, and now with the cooldown reduction on her, with the cooldown on her ultimate being a lot longer at level 1 and being the same at level 3, means that she's now going to be significantly better a lot later. So I feel like the later that this goes on, Rawr is definitely in a better space to win. They have Ezreal, they have Anivia, two scaling champions, along with Ornn, who's at his best level 13 in post, Lulu, who's at her best around level 11 in post, and it's up to Lee Sin here to really try to facilitate this early game for them, but it's going to be a lot harder for him coming out of the jungle with a lot less HP and needing to dive some of these characters sometimes.
Absolutely. And we will take a quick break as we load in. Don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and we are on the rift of Rawr versus Imperial Gaming. We have a 5-point start across the map, and we are ready to get underway. Imperial Gaming is on the red side, Rawr is on the blue, and we are ready to get these two teams underway for the gauntlet. We have Peter Griefer on the Ornn, very important pickup for him, and a very good two team comps together here. Thousand, are you ready to go?
I believe I am. Is I want to just make sure the stream is functioning as intended. Is something it does not seem to be working. We are a little scuffed at the moment. Apologies. You can.
Yeah, so it
Oh
looks like
my
we got
goodness.
some regular starts across the map here. Just blue team and starting junglers starting their bot side buffs here. Got a Kessin on the red, and we got frozen turd on the. That's the first time I've seen that name. Okay, cool. Wonderful. Frozen turd. Wonderful. We got poop sock and we got frozen turd. I mean, how can you get better League of Legends than this, honestly? Nocturne is going to be starting their blue side. It's going to be interesting to see how these early ganks are going to be happening. Obviously, Lee Sin's definitely a little bit better on the early ganks than the Nocturne is, in my opinion, just because of the Q just dashing immediately to the target. Should be interesting so far. I mean, I'm definitely looking at this bot lane for sure because Galio definitely a lot better at these early levels than the Lulu, but definitely falls victim to the Lulu's polymorph. So if Lulu started Q and then went polymorph second, then that means that Rin is going to have a very, very hard time actually getting on to Poopsock Boss Man here.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. We are going to take a quick break as we figure out what is going on here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Surely we should have our technical issues all fixed up now and should be back into the game. We're about 250 into this game, and we're ready to get back underway. We do have some not so spicy starts just yet. A lot of just farming back and forth, and that really comes from a bunch of laners not exactly having their power spikes yet. So we'll have to see as this game progresses. But once again, hello, welcome to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined tonight by Thousand Eyes. We are on the Rift with Rawr versus Imperial Gaming. This is week 2 of our Gold League, and we are ready to get things underway as we are now 3 minutes into this game. Tessa, you ready to go?
I want to scream. Today has been a mess for me, and all like work sucked, and now this is going all wrong because I'll give a little peek behind the curtains. I just did not get the chance to add Shinkari to the game. And as such, I now have to stream the game to him through Discord, and he is casting off of that, which is why some of the frames may not look the greatest right now. I apologize. That is 100% my fault. And yeah, so
I mean, it's all right. We can still get some great League of Legends out to all y'all watching right now. As you do have Kessin showing up in the mid lane, but it looks like he's just using the opportunity to walk down and get a double crab.
Yeah, so far the Lee Sin has been doing great, and I will say, Shinkari, you are going to be able to add actual bird and then be able to spectate off of that. So
okay, cool.
Go ahead and do that, so I don't have to just make this stream. Sorry, Scream has been on my mind lately.
No. Stream, it's fine. I get it.
The stream janky as all heck. So. Now, let's take a quick look at where we are at. The Ashe is actually doing very well into the Ezreal, and that's kind of to be expected here as long as Marin is able to pressure a little bit. Ezreal, with the tier, is not going to put out anywhere near as much damage, and will be able to... the Ezreal will be kind of forced back a little bit. I'm at your table getting a lot of good pressure down. Basically, we've seen, I believe, some of those biscuits already be used by the Ezreal. And top side here, Kennen also doing a great job of getting Ornn off of the wave. He's got a lot of farm to catch, but he's just had no opportunity to get up there. And now we are just going to see Frozen Turd has not had to make a gank yet, and has so far been able to just farm for that level 6.
Yeah, and actually he's been doing pretty well for himself as well. He got double crabbed, but is still tied in experience for Lee Sin here, and is really close and actually beating by 1 CS right now. So it's not a gigantic lead, but it's still like having to lose both Scuttle Crabs early, but still keeping up in experience is a pretty good job if you ask me.
There should not even be a lead is the thing. Like I mean, yes, the Nocturne should be like power farming, but the fact that there has been no pressure from this Lee Sin is just a huge win for Nocturne. All of these characters being able to hit that level 6 point. Obviously, Anivia and Ornn going to really appreciate this. But I'm surprised. I'm not sure exactly. I guess Frozen Turd's expecting a gank towards topside here, but this seems like a lot of wasted time here.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for him, his there are no camps up for him to grab. The only thing that he's really losing out on is dragon pressure. But if he wants to go, the go time was before, and looks like the go time is now. As Peter Griefer is going to be dive on. That's gonna be the Kennen ultimate spent. That's to flash away, flashing forward for the first blood. They might have lost dragon down on the bot side, but they picked up first blood for themselves. Actual bird is going to be killing the top lane.
Yeah. And yeah, you lose a dragon. It is just a Windrake, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Getting a kill on an Ornn, more importantly, getting the kill onto Kennen is very good and will allow for Kennen to bully this Ornn harder, and I think more importantly, show up to these team fights with a stronger ultimate coming down. The Hextech Alternator and the Sork Shoes coming through. There is no MR built so far by the Ornn, so it's going to be a bit of extra damage coming through onto Peter Griefer.
Yeah, and luckily for Peter Griefer here is that the big thing is that he building MR doesn't really take him too far out of his normal build path. Abyssal Mask is an item typically built by Ornn players, and on top of that, the Null Magic Mantle builds into the Aegis of the Legion, which can then turn into the Sunfire Aegis. So not too out of left field if he decides to build more MR against the Kennen here. So it should be fine relatively. He's just not going to be building plated steel caps probably this game.
Yeah. Do let me know then when you do get that ad and can spectate the game then, so I can move off of Discord. Yeah. So it is you adding actual bird is what we're looking for.
Okay.
And now just looking out, lots of vision on this bottom side, allowing for How I Met Your Table and Rin to play kind of in the dark. You can see the Ashe E coming through, trying to get a little bit of information. And now Kesu is sitting on, or Kessen, oh my goodness, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
I've just been calling them Kessen, to be honest.
Kessen gonna be getting the Q, getting the block.
Yeah, that's a real great knockup by Rin here. Gonna force the flash away, but does stall Kessen's damage for just a little bit longer. Okay, diving a little bit more. That's a great dragon kick. Gonna try to get back in, but the Wild Growth is gonna stall him up for just a little bit longer. Polymorph the Ashe, which means she's not gonna be able to do a whole lot of damage in return. Gonna take it about half HP. Really can't fight anymore, but that's a 1 for 0 in the bot lane.
Yeah, and a very solid start as well. Great kick flash to get the Galio back into that fight and get the damage down. The Sheen already doing a lot of work, and that's a great start too, because we talked about how Ashe, you know, is going to fall off in that lane pretty quickly. Ezreal, in the current state of League, does get to a point where he is kind of scary very quickly. It's just that Sheen really that can make him a lane bully. And now with the kill on top of that and taking the Ashe down, that's going to give a free back for Ezreal and start working towards that Divine Sunder. My brain is everywhere.
All good. But with that, it does prompt the Nocturne to start and pick up the Rift Herald. He is holding on to that right now with the Lee Sin showing bottom lane. So that is a pretty good pickup for the Nocturne here. Real good to kind of throw that in whatever lane and give himself some extra gold. I feel like Nocturne's build is a little bit more expensive than Lee Sin's here. So we'll have to see how that plays out. It's going to be really interesting for sure. But once again, Nocturne still hasn't shown up a bunch to these lanes. Really only shown up once, whereas Lee Sin has ganked a couple times already.
Yeah, but it's really only been one successful gank. So in terms of actual impact, it has been similar. Actual Bird gonna dodge everything.
Yeah, the third, there's a real good dodge here. That's a great paranoia. Gonna dive on Ornn here, taking incredibly low. It's gonna be find the kill. That's gonna be the Kennen ultimate coming across the slicing Maelstrom, taking incredibly low. Can they find the last bit of damage? The auto attack comes across. Diana's looking for the dive. She's going to be able to find it. That's 2 kills in the top lane for 0 in response. That's a huge pickup for Imperial Gaming.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're gonna get the Rift Herald at the same time. This tower is going to be taken down very early on. And now Actual Bird is going to be unlocked. The kill onto Actual Bird, the kill onto the Nocturne, and the kill onto the Diana. These are the 3 that you really wanted to get going. Ashe is the AD carry, but Ashe is the utility here. Ashe is just looking to slow everybody and allow the rest of that team to do their job. Now, Actual Bird, Azure Fire, they can start going aggro once they spend that gold.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest thing is unlocking the Kennen here and allowing him to kind of roam around the map. Honestly, this isn't the biggest loss for Ornn. If Ornn freezes the wave around his side of the map, he should be able to farm fairly safely and be able to get to that level 13 power spike and still keep the teleport around for team fights around the dragon. Kennen, on the other hand, now has the ability to just kind of roam around the map when waves aren't pushed in his favor and just kind of apply that pressure to the rest of the map. He's a team fighter. He's a real good team fighter. Get 2 people in that slicing Maelstrom. He's going to be doing a whole lot of damage, enabling the rest of his team to follow up a whole lot as well. So we'll have to see how Actual Bird plays out with this top lane turret gone.
Yeah, and importantly, right now with the dragon up, Actual Bird's teleport is still available. We're still waiting on the TP from Peter Griefer at the moment. the teleport that was burned in all of that was Azure Fires. And Azure Fire, being the mid laner, is going to be a lot closer to that dragon fight, allowing for the cannon to show up. They really should be pressuring this a lot more because they could get this for free. Ornn was not able to get in, will be able to get in very shortly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is going to see. Yeah, look at Ornn right now taking the top laner's walk of shame all the way down to the dragon buff here.
Oh,
so
but at this point you could have TP'd. So it is,
yeah.
ouch, exchange the teleport for the heal.
Okay, interesting. I mean, he's walking into a team fight right now. He doesn't need the teleport.
Yeah.
So this is actually a pretty good pickup here. He does still have the ignite as well. Does not have flash. The rest of the red team is down here. Kennen has walked down. So Kennen is here. The rest of the red team here. So they are split up a little bit. So they can't start the fight just yet. But both teams are kind of jockeying for position right here.
Yeah, and as we can see, there is the engage. Kesu going way in.
Kessin dived in way. That's a real good as well. Really good kick on a frozen turd here. Taking incredibly low. The Ornhorn might be able to find the kill, but he's going to dive back in, try to get a huge chunk of damage. That's going to be the heroic entrance onto the backside, going to protect the actual turret just a little bit longer with that magical shield. Can they get more? They've already found 2 kills. Can they get more? That's the double kill for the make that 3, make that 4. Peter Griefer is trying to turn this around as best he can.
Wait a second.
You're onto Craigslist now, but that's going to be Azure Fire picking up the ace. It's a 4 for 5. A huge bloodbath around the Drake. No one gets it, but that's an ace for the red team.
Yeah, getting that early kill on the Ezreal was very, very big, but the follow-up there, the Ornn is already rocking that Sunfire cape, and he is a terrifying thing to deal with at the moment. Oh my god, Ornn damage sucks, man.
Yeah. Ornn damage is crazy. It's one of those reasons why, you know, oh man. Yeah, it was Taric. It was Taric a long time ago. Got like a lot of scaling based off of armor removed. You know, that's, you know, Ornn can build straight defensive and still do so much damage just thanks to a lot of his bases and things like that. But this is a real easy dragon pickup for the blue team here. They're now 2 dragons deep. It's going to be an ocean soul for this map. And, you know, they're real close to this dragon soul victory here.
Yeah, and the reason that you did see Imperial Gaming end up giving that dragon away was the fact that we were, you know, still waiting on cooldowns from those ultimates. Those ultimates from that last fight are just now all coming off cooldown. And it is not something that they really wanted to take another fight here, as I will apologize for the lag and frame drops. My computer is already struggling to stream once, and now it is doing it twice.
Yeah, we do have Azure Fire getting a great dive onto Lulu here. Going to be able to pick up a kill for themselves. Real good pickup. But that is the Diana and the Ashe ultimate spent here. Going to be teleporting back to mid as well. The Ezreal ultimate does not stop the teleport. Like,
this
is a Kenton diving back in. Looking for How I Met Your Table. Gonna dodge around the taunt here, doing a real great job, but they can't get behind the Ashe just yet. That's a great trigger of the locket here. Taken incredibly low. That's the dragon kick. Gonna knock him through over to Ezreal. Rin is trying to get the last bit of damage. Gonna knock Kessin into the air, but a double kill for the Ezreal now is huge. 2 for 0 in the bot lane. That's a good pickup for the blue team.
Kessin is nuts on this Lee Sin. Holy crap. We are just seeing actual insects. Oh yeah, my goodness.
Just been doing so well with these flash into the kick as well. So good.
Yeah, it is very, very impressive. And now Peter Griefer just going to be farming up a little bit more and already hitting the Sunfire with the Warden's Mail. Getting into these fights, yeah, the Diana and the Kennen are going to hurt, but that's burst damage. When you're building as much health as the Ornn does, getting health alone really helps you survive against these burst magic damage dealing types. Now we're going to be seeing just basically the AD, the consistent damage coming through that needs to be handled. And with that early armor, that is going to be really hard to burn through. Also coming up on that point where you will be able to get the Ornn upgrades for everybody. Remember, it is the mythics only that are upgraded now, but they are upgraded a sizable chunk.
Yeah, being able to pick up a lot of these are going to be very, very important, especially for the Ezreal, I think, because Ezreal reaches a point where he just stops building damage. He's going to build the Muramana. He's going to build he's going to build Cyrilda's. And then after that, he builds Frozen Heart. He doesn't really build a whole lot of damage after that. So picking up the enhanced Divine Sunderer is going to be very important for getting that little extra bit of damage into the late game into his build.
Yeah, and now we are getting ready as Dragon will be spawning in another 2 minutes. Lots of early vision being put down, although there is a word that's been missed. Rin, gotta be getting that one. Pay attention, buddy.
Okay, Rin's going back for it. Okay, yeah. Okay, we got it. We got there.
Yeah.
We got there. Y'all don't worry. Rin's got the thing. There's actual bird might be caught out here, knocked into the air, gonna get the clap.
That's not a good kick, buddy.
Maelstrom. Ooh, yeah, gonna kick him away. The Ornhorn's coming across and gonna go golden here. That might actually have spelt his death. But here comes the Paranoia coming across. Kessin is gonna be able to find the kill in the actual burst. So now it's a 1v2. That's gonna be Azure diving in, gonna be able to find the kill on the Lee Sin. But here comes Poop Sock. He's coming in from the side, gonna eat oh man, the instantaneous cleanse. He's gonna be able to find the kill onto both Diana and Nocturne here. And that's gonna be Roadhouse in the bot lane, cleaning up How I Met Your Table. Absolutely insane from Poop Sock here.
We talk about the insane micro that we are getting out of Rawr. Yes, that kick flash was not needed. That did not need to happen. You almost got the Kennen out with that. Like, chill out a little bit on the flashiness. But then, IG, I don't know why you go in one at a time there. Yes, okay, Kennen died. Don't Nocturnal in. You know, Kennen's going to die. So just take that. Just take that loss. Then you have the Nocturne go in alone. By the time by the time Diana is there, Nocturne's already going down, and now Diana's going in alone. It was just one at a time. But oh my god, the cleanse from Poofsog. What? That was Captain Jack worthy.
Yeah. It was really, really good for sure. Like, almost instantaneous. Like, I'm fairly certain was stunned and unstunned. Like, I thought he had like a Malzahar spell shield for a moment. Like, that's how quick it was on the cleanse of the arrow. And it was really important that he did so too, because it would have ended up stunning maybe 2 members of the blue team, and by tanking it, real good job. And now they're on the dragon here, might be able to pick it up. Ezreal ultimate comes across, hit a few members, but the blue team looks like they might want to fight here, slowed down. But here comes the Ornhorn coming across. Oh yeah, that's gonna be 2 knocked in the air, slicing. Maelstrom is gonna be turning around. That's gonna be Shauna falling, and Kennen as well. So that's already 1 for 1 here. Here comes the heroic entrance, gonna give Frozen Turd just a little bit more time alive, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out this time. That's gonna be now Rin falling, and now they're looking for more. How I Met Your Table tries to hop over the wall, but Kessin follows through with it. That's a great dragon kick back into the team fight. How I Met Your Table is now underneath turret, but Kessin is looking to dive. Can he get it? Last bit of HP. Can he get it? He's not going to be able to. How I Met Your Table lives. Poopsock is going to hop over the wall. That's the ace at the end of it. 4 for 2 in favor of Rawr. Absolutely well played.
Yeah, it looked a little sketchy there when Rawr walked into that small corridor. The Kennen got a great ult, but there just wasn't enough damage to follow up. The Diana did not get a great ult across multiple people. And meanwhile, Anivia set up a great ultimate to just put everybody, you know, just cut off that choke and make it impossible to walk through. Really great job and great team fighting from Rawr. That whole time, Poopsock Bossman was able to just kite back further and further.
Yeah, just a real good job. And, you know, How I Met Your Table, you know, did a real good job of kiting that out and at least being able to grab a kill onto Kessin here. But man, it took a real long time too, and we're starting to see kind of like what happens when you pick up the Ashe here. You're kind of not getting as much damage as you would from, say, a different AD carry here. So if, you know, I don't know what you pick instead, and I don't think it's like a huge pick issue, but, you know, the Ashe here not really doing as much damage as, say, the Ezreal, who is now 8-1-3 now.
Yeah, to me, I feel like you can just go, you know, all in on that bursty style and go for like something like a Jhin. Jhin has gotten a buff this patch. I think Jhin is pretty solid, and would provide, you know, some similar types of utility. Another option could be that Sivir with the speed up on the ult to get your entire team in on that fight. That could kind of fix your issue of not having a lot of crowd control. Don't need it if you're running at Mach 12. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, that's true.
I think there's a lot of different options here. I don't hate this composition. I just think right now the you have an Ashe who's got the shield bow, and that's just an Ashe that is not doing very much damage at all.
Yeah. For sure, and it's going to be especially harder to deal the damage when the front line is an Ornn who already has an Abyssal Mask, a Warden's Mail, and a Sunfire Aegis. Like that is that's an Ornn that's incredibly hard to stop. And on top of that, he's already started to get those improved. The ornaments are already starting to come across with that level 14 now.
Forge Fire.
Yep.
Coming through,
Yeah,
and I believe
going to be pretty big.
I believe can do one more at this point. I believe is it 13 that Ornn starts getting those.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and Ezreal does get the how do you say that? Deicide?
Deicide?
Deicide? Yeah, we'll go with that.
It means to kill a god.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That actually okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, whatever. Azure Fire are gonna be getting some damage onto this Lulu, who is then going to shield. Actually, that's not the most terrible thing. Going to get a little bit of health there.
Yeah, Shauna picking up the Moonstone Renewer here. That's pretty standard here. I've been trying to see how Imperial Mandate has been working on these enchanters, and honestly, like half the time, Moonstone Renewer just being able to heal up your team is when you don't normally have heals to begin with is very, very strong. So
yeah,
the fact that the Moonstone Renewer here, not totally out of left field, pretty standard. Definitely a good pickup for the Lulu here. A lot of cooldown reduction. Once again, the cooldowns on Lulu are a lot longer now.
Well, they're 1 second longer on the W.
Yeah.
And the ult did get a bit of a nerf. But yeah, I mean, the other thing too is I think we've seen the Shirelias come through. Oh, that's a big ult.
Came across, but that's going to be the initiation with Diana. Instead, Slicing Maelstrom has come across as well. The Paranoia is coming across.
My.
That's not going to be used. It's going to be dove onto Anivia and down the bottom corner there. The Ornhorn comes across, but Peter Griefer is not in a place to really use that Ornhorn now. Roadhouse is still 1v1ing Frozen Turd here, but here comes Azure Fire around the corner. Roadhouse has got nowhere to go. He's going to be dove on, turned into an egg, but Peter Griefer is really looking for the kill onto Nautilus here. That's going to be Kelvin so far. Nocturne is so incredibly low. Peter Griefer's not going to be able to find the kill. It runs underneath turret, and so that is a 3-for-0 in favor of the red team, and now they have control over the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, what a pick that was from Azure to get in there, get 3 people with that ult, and yeah, Ornn didn't take much from it as
looks like they're 1v1ing here. That's going to be actual Bird coming in from the side as well. Keston is taken incredibly low. Might actually be able to find something here as Real Ultimate comes across. Not going to be able to find a kill this time. They pick up the Drake. They pick up the Lee Sin in addition to their 3 kills, and now they're backing out of there. This is a huge, huge pickup for the red team.
Yeah, IG getting a huge turnaround on this one, and that was a 1,000 gold kill. This Diana is now just completely and utterly terrifying. As the Lichbane working towards that Zhonya's now, I'm kind of surprised by the Lichbane. Not something that you usually see that Nashers come through. And I think the Nashers, especially against something like the Ornn where you need to get that more consistent damage, could be great. But this does mean that burst onto the Ezreal and onto the Anivia is going to be much more potent and strong. So that is I'm going to pop somebody and then just get out kind of build. Roadhouse is hiding in the bush here.
Roadhouse is looking for a fight on Actual Bird. Already taken about, oh my god, 30% of his HP, I'm going to guess here, as Actual Bird looking for more. Slicing Maelstrom has popped, but Anivia is nowhere to be seen, so they're going to turn that off. But that's a huge cooldown spent by Actual Bird here. So the cooldown, if a fight starts relatively soon, it's going to be there's going to be an ultimate down, and a pretty big one at that.
Yeah, it is, but also importantly, the Anivia flash is down. And that means Anivia is a wide open target. Remember, she did just die, so that egg is going to be a bit longer on the cooldown. But yeah, Anivia with no egg and no flash is just a walking sack of gold if you go into the wrong spot at the wrong time. Speaking of,
Yeah, speaking of wrong place at the wrong time, they might have been spotted out by the ward here, but they're definitely going to be spotted out by that Ezreal Q there and then immediately back away. Yeah, you can't really do a whole death brush against a Lee Sin and an Ezreal. It's not really going to turn out as well as you'd hope. They might have also been spotted out by that blue ward there as they were walking into the bush. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, the red team is definitely posturing for the Baron here. Nocturne is in this top lane. He's looking like to walk down and join the rest of the blue team here. Let's see how this plays out. Do you have a back? Is backing right now? That's Kennen. Okay, Kennen has teleport.
Yeah,
but doesn't really have a whole lot of places to go. So
both teleports on IG are available. Anivia does not have hers, and yeah, you can see does not have that egg yet. Level 16 on the Anivia though. The hard farm Anivia has been doing some work on that end. Now has the upgraded Ludens as well. So if this fight gets into a spot where Anivia can put down a good ultimate and just zone people out, that could be good, but Azure is looking for a big ult.
God, dancing around all of that CC doesn't actually get knocked. It was actually really impressive almost. Like dodged around, I think like 3 different forms of CC throughout that entire thing, like a Nivea Q. I think there was a Lulu in there as well, and then the Ornn knock up as well. So that's a whole lot of dodging by Azure Fire there. Definitely wasting some time because Azure actual Bird is down in this bot lane. Might actually grab the bot outer turret here, which is the last outer turret standing for the blue team here. So that's gonna give them just a little bit more room to work with, pick them up an easy turret, give themselves a little bit more gold, but you know, this Baron is still on the table, and both teams are kind of sticking around it. Don't really want to give up a whole lot of space around it.
Yeah, but also importantly, the dragon is coming up in a minute here, and that is a much safer pickup, and whoever gets this is going to be on soul point, so both teams really looking to try and get this. It's not the end of the world when the other team gets it, but it definitely puts a bit of a struggle and a bit of a scare on whichever team is behind, because it is the Ocean Soul, and it is not fun to deal with an Ocean Soul, especially when you're looking at people like the Ornn or the Anivia who keep doing that consistent damage and are inherently beefy. They have the ability to just kind of soak up so much damage and heal throughout a fight that it is almost impossible to take them down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the big thing here is I think it's actually a really, really good soul if Imperial picks this up. If Imperial picks this up, that's a 4 ocean soul. That's a lot of healing that they're going to be able to get here. That's insane. The other team is going to have to stop whatever they're building and immediately build Grievous Wounds, which, by the way, none of them have right now. There is 0 Grievous Wounds on the enemy on Rawr right here. So if they pick up the Ocean Soul, sell whatever you're building. Get rid of that Hex Drinker. Get it out of your thing. Executioner's calling, 100%. Now we have two teams jockeying for position here as looks like they're trying to pull the Drake over to their side of the river here. Oh, it gets blocked up by the Ornn, by the little Ornn pillar there.
Okay,
looks like it's
so
okay.
I am not a fan. Oh wait, that could be big, Kessin. I'm not a fan of Rawr just sitting here and trying to jockey for this. I feel like you have the Anivia that can push. Here comes the Kennen.
Oh wait, no, yeah, that's Kennen. Ultimate is huge. That's going to be the heroic entrance call. It's a huge knockup. But where's the damage? No one has died just yet. Frozen Turd is on the backside here, going to be able to pick up a kill for themselves. Kennen found another one. That's 3 for 0 right now. They dive on a How I Met Your Table, but they can't find the damage. Peter Griefer is now the only person left. Double kill for the Diana. Can they find more? But Peter Griefer is going to be gone. The red team now has control over this Drake, and they're going to be able to continue more.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I don't like Rawr just posturing on that dragon. You guys don't have the team fight composition. Yeah, Anivia can team fight great. Ezreal, pretty solid at it. But you have a Lee Sin versus this Nocturne ult to come through, and you're looking at major amounts of wombo combo coming through on the Diana, Kennen, and the on the Nocturne as well. So if you just sit there, eventually, while you're grouped up, Kennen is going to take that opportunity to flash Hextech in and just completely obliterate your team. Great follow-up from everybody on IG, and that is going to net them that 3rd Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, now that they have this third Ocean Drake here, it's now they can probably just start taking small fights and looking for skirmishes and then just sit back and heal, because that's a lot of health regeneration. That's 2.5 times 3. That's about 7.5 health every 5 seconds. That's a lot of healing for you to just, on top of that, Ash already has, excuse me, just getting very burpy right now, excuse me. The Immortal Shield Belt is very, very strong right now. So we'll, this is definitely a point in which, they're going to have to watch out.
Yeah.
That's a lot of healing.
I have gotten word that your friend request has been accepted, Shinkari.
Yes.
So
And we should just have to wait a bit to sync up here, because I'm at 36 minutes.
all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The Anivia still farming up. This is just a bit of a stall out here. The Baron is still on the table, was not picked up. But the biggest thing right now is the clock is starting to tick a little bit for this next dragon, and all of Rawr have to be on edge for that.
Yeah, I mean, they've been losing these big objective fights. It's going to be real tough for them to really get a good fight at this stage. They're now down about 2.6k gold, and man, this is not looking like recipe for success right now.
Yeah, and once again, we're seeing this jockeying for position, and like we've said, this is just favorable for IG. They can get that engage off if they force Rawr to come to play with them. What I'd love to see is a little bit more of that split push with the Anivia and the Ornn, but it's not going to be the easiest thing, because you can see actual Bird is too much of a threat for the Kennen. Yes, for the Anivia. Roadhouse can stall this out and buy a lot of time, but it is not going to be something that they are able to push with. Ezreal is just going to check for that Baron. Also, level 18 on this Anivia. Very, very much riding that experience wave.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard to not be level 18 when you're nearly 300 CS, and all you need to do is just kill the minions at this point. That's exactly what Kennen has been doing, as Azure Fire might be caught out here, was eating some boots, some plants here, but that's going to be the initiation. That's a great, goes golden. Kessin is now taunted up, knocked into the air, stunned by the arrow, taken incredibly low. The kill comes across. It's going to be the Paranoid diving onto the back line here. Ezreal's going to be backing away. Frozen Turd taken incredibly low, but Anivia is now an egg. Going to be turned, going to be killed. Azure Fire's on the backside. Rin's taken incredibly low.
Oh my
Flashes over
God.
the wall. Frozen Turd is back up. The Guardian Angel has been popped. 4 members of the red team. How I Met Your Table is still very, very healthy. Azure Fire dives back in. Poop Song is taken incredibly low. That's going to be the lifeline triggering, but it's the wrong type of damage shield. That's Azure Fire living for just a little bit longer. Peter Griefer, once again, the only member of the blue team up. Can they finally find the kill? He's so tanky. He's taking so long to kill this guy. All right, last bit of HP. That's the shutdown. That's going to be the ace. 1, 2, 3. And they're going for the Baron.
Yeah. So let's talk about how much work Ocean Dragons did in that fight. They were able to keep just so many people alive.
Stop the Discord stream, by the way.
Yeah. They just kept so many people alive through that entire fight. You can see like 126 on that Nocturne. Like every time that's ticking, just crazy amounts. And you saw also just how low the health bars got on IG. They just stayed alive with a sliver of health, and the extra healing coming through was able to keep them just topped off so they could get in. Also, the Ashe has now started to hit a point where her damage is a threat. She is no longer that weak little, baby little slingshot Ashe. She is now, able to not only do a solid amount of damage, but also play very aggressively because of the amount of lifesteal that she has.
Yeah. Not to mention that these slows are now really, really important. If you get caught, it's huge. And that's going to be Azure Fire with the initiation here, going to pull them in. That's going to be the Paranoia coming across as well. Now, that's going to be the first one to fall, make that the second. Ezreal and Lee Sin are already gone. Roadhouse is incredibly low, doesn't have the egg either. Shauna was forced to use Wild Growth on themselves. There's no longer a turret there. Ornar comes across. That's a huge ultimate, though. That's 4 members knocked into the air, one of them dead. That's going to be Peter Griefer 1v3ing. He might actually get some kills here. Actual goes golden.
No,
now Peter Griefer has to turn around, but now it looks like he's trying to re-engage, but he's feared. He can't keep the damage going. Roadhouse is looking for the kill on the frozen turret, can't quite find it, and How I Met Your Table is on a running for this Anivia here, but is going to back away. That is huge. That's a great pickup for the red team, and oh my gosh, Peter Griefer was almost able to turn around, but close only matters, and horseshoes and hand grenades. That's going to be the red team getting the team fight, getting the dragon, and getting the dragon soul. What an absolutely huge win for Imperial Gaming here.
Yeah, and once again, they're the ones pushing the tempo of the game. They're the ones starting these fights and getting the wombo combo engages. And the turnaround is great. Like, Peter Griefer's tanky enough to soak that up. But Poopsock Bossman got caught out, got obliterated. And then when Shauna also got extremely low and ended up falling just off of just a stray bullet coming through. Roadhouse did a great job, but unfortunately peeled off in the wrong direction as Peter Griefer went further in. Without that extra Anivia damage, there was not enough for Peter Griefer to actually be able to turn that one around. Because you saw, if they had the Ornn ult into the Anivia ult, it was so much damage, just did not actually last. Shauna, no.
Oh no, 2 assassins, 1 jungle brush, 1 dead. Lulu, oh no, they're diving onto it. They're diving onto Azure Fire here. She's going to dive back in. That's taken incredibly low. Azure Fire was able to live for just a little bit longer before the shutdown, but now they're on the frozen turret, who's taken incredibly low. They still haven't found the second kill. Here comes Actual Bird. The slicing maelstrom is gigantic. They're able to find a huge stun on the Roadhouse here as he goes golden. Peter Griefer is now looking to turn this around. You can't deal damage to this big goat man, but they're going to turn that around. They're going to pick up a 2-for-1 around the mid lane here. They've lost the Baron buff, but they're still ahead in this game.
Absolutely, IG can still push this hard. You can see, though, it is really tough without that Baron buff. Roadhouse is able to clear just for days and is only going to get worse and worse with that, as you can see, going towards that. Oh my goodness, my brain is blanking. What is the burn item that is not the mythic?
That'd be Demonic Visage.
Demonic Embrace, I believe.
Demonic Embrace, correct.
Yes. But yeah, Peter Griefer does not take much damage at all. The problem is he wasn't in that fight. Because Shauna just got caught out, Peter Griefer was stuck on the opposite side of that and could not actually do anything that entire time. Now Ornn going to upgrade the final item here. Shauna saying, thank God I have better
Starcaster.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I have the Starcaster, the item I never thought I'd see.
Yeah, that was the one I didn't know, because I always see like the other ones like a lot more consistently. Like seeing what is it? Oh man, you know, I was gonna say that I knew it very well and then I just forgot it. And I don't think it's Leviathan Slayer, but it is definitely Kraken Slayer, but bigger. Forge Fire Crest, I remember. But like I have never seen the star caller or whatever is
Starcaster. Starcaller is the Soraka. So
yeah,
that's probably why it's called that. Oh,
probably.
Oh, here comes the Nocturne. Wait, Nocturne's going very deep.
That's a great initiation here. Going to be stunned up by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well. Nivea's turned into an egg, but that was a whole lot of ultimates spent in order to get that one kill. Let's see what they're able to get off of it.
Yeah, and a good engage there. I thought Roadhouse might have been able to get out because Nocturne was going very deep, but the Ashe ult follow-up was the perfect CC needed to be able to get that. They're just going to tank this a little bit. When you have the Anivia down, this is your time to push. They need to make an inhibitor crack happen now. It'll give them the opportunity to go for a Baron afterwards.
Yeah, it's really important that they get this, that they just kind of ignore the fact that Ornn is there and get as much damage onto the turret as they possibly can.
But Ezreal.
Ornn is the biggest threat to them right now, just because of he just walk in front of the team, block a bunch of skill shots for Poopsock to really just run rampant in these team fights. So, you know, it's going to be really important to just kind of try to maneuver around him as much as possible, but it's going to be very, very hard. Ornn is very hard champion to just ignore. As Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes across, Ornn is going to be stunned up. There's the Diana ultimate. That's going to be the heroic entrance as well. Only finds 2 knockups though. Actual Bird is going to be able to find the kill on Shana. Now they're on to Poopsock, and he's going to fall as well. Peter Griefer once again knocked up
Anivia,
3
though.
people. Roadhouse is back in.
That's a big Anivia.
Huge Anivia ultimate, and Azure Fire is stunned for an eternity. Frozen Turd is going to come back into the fight. They're going to find the kill on Kessin here. Peter Griefer is finally taken incredibly low. So is Roadhouse here, but he's dealing so much damage. He's going to find the stun onto Galio, but they're not going to be able to find the follow-up in order to kill this big bird. That's going to be Ornn, and Anivia still alive, but that's still, the red team is now pushing onto into the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, Anivia might be able to hold this off, but I don't like where Anivia is right now. You got to keep the towers alive.
Yeah, Peter Griefer is taken incredibly low here. He might actually fall after all this time. He finally does.
There's no
and
minions.
That's going to be How I Met Your Table tanking up the turret here, but now Actual Bird is underneath. Oh, run for your life. Run for your life, you small little furry child. Run. Run. Go. Fly, you fools.
Yeah, the Ocean Dragons and the Soul helping out so much. Oh my god, that is just a chunk of health just every couple seconds.
Oh my god, wait, Ezreal ult? Oh.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
It only hit Ashe.
Okay, we're fine. Everyone, we're fine. Everyone can calm down.
Yeah, and you can see too just the lack of respect for that Anivia. We said like they have to get things done while the Anivia is dead, and they stayed a little bit too long, and that is why those minions did go away so fast. A dragon is spawning here. This is an okay push here. Now you can see that it is the first pass for Rawr. They have the ability to kind of start this up because of how IG just took a very late reset. They may end up losing this one.
Yeah, Actual Bird, he needs to get in there now if they want to stop it, but it looks like they're just going to concede that over, and this is the initiation. This might actually be them winning the game.
Hold up.
Rin is already below half HP. Channeling
Rin's
trying
dead.
to get that damage reduction, maybe saving their team, but that's going to be the execute coming across. Kessin is now looking for more, but not going to be able to land a Q in order to follow up, but that's one member of the the red team down, and that's nearly a minute long death timer. That's gigantic.
Yeah, and importantly too, this means that the Baron is going to go over to Rawr as well. They just have to send Anivia back to clear. She'll be able to clear out those super minions pretty easily, and the Baron is still going to go down fairly quickly here. Shana needs to get on that ward. They do not know that it is seen. Now they're going to know.
Ooh, okay. Teleport from Diana's coming down. It's a 4v4 here, but they do have the dragon buff here. Actual Bird is taking incredibly low. Frozen Turd is going to be able to find the first kill, make that 2. They are able to get the Baron buff. Now their health bars are so low. 1, 2 executes, 3 executes. Can they find more? How I Met Your Table is the only member left, but it doesn't have a huge HP bar. That lifeline is not going to save you this time. That's huge. Elder Drake is going to pick up 3 kills for Peter Griefer here. That's nearly an ace as Rin respawns in the base just before the ace thing comes up.
No, it was an actual ace. It was called.
Okay, yep. Blue team has scored an ace, yep.
Yeah. Let's talk about how that should have just been the Baron. Because when you get Elder Dragon, you cannot contest for the Baron. You can maybe go for a steal, but taking it a full-on fight like that, when you have the Ezreal, you have the Anivia who can burn you down so quick, this is going to cost IG the game. What?
Yeah, this is real tough for Rin to even get in here. The dragon kick comes across.
It's game.
Yeah, there's the wall as well. Rin literally cannot do anything, as it's going to be GG. Game 1 goes over to Rawr.
Oh my. I am in awe. I am just in awe of what just happened. Massive throw by IG. I'm just gonna call it as it is. Massive throw by IG on that. They had such a lead and they were pushing in, but they didn't respect the Anivia. They took too long. The minions ended up going down because Anivia was so big, and then eventually that lack of rotation, that lack of respect for the Anivia meant that they backed late, got to the dragon late, lost it because of that, and then tried to take a bad Baron fight against an Elder Dragon empowered team. There were just a multitude of mistakes that were being made by IG that allowed for Rawr to then make the correct decisions and pull that win out from underneath IG's claws.
Yeah, I mean, it really was their game to win. They were in such a commanding position. They stayed too long in the base. They weren't respecting the timer on the Elder Drake. They didn't respect the Anivia, like you said. And then once the Elder Drake was taken, you know, we have, when I was learning League of Legends, there was one great rule that I learned is either you go in or you leave. But if you don't do either, you're probably going to die, right? Like, and that's what seemed to me what happened when Rin and actual Bird had gone down to the dragon when they were trying to compete for that Elder Drake down there at the very end there. You know, Rin was around the pit, but actual Bird had decided to leave, and Rin had stayed along just a little too much longer. And the second that the Elder Drake was dead, the blue team turned on their heels. We're like, okay, let's get Rin. And then any sort of attempt that was on the Baron was forced to be a 4v5. And the second that it became a 4v4, right, because Anivia had gone back, you had Elder Drake buff. It doesn't matter because that last person is the Elder Drake buff. It's a 4v5 at that point because that last little slim bit of HP bar that would have been someone else's damage is the Elder Drake execute.
Yeah, so we are... I mean, I'm excited for this next game. I don't know about you, Shikari, but that was a banger.
Yeah, it was real good. It came down to the wire, and in the end, you know, the blue team, Rawr, was able to snatch a victory for themselves. But with that, we're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of Game 2 of Rawr versus Imperial Gaming. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and we are getting into picks and bans of Game 2 of Rawr versus Imperial Gaming. We are about to get this show on the road, but after a Game 1, Rawr was able to get a very good victory at the end of the match thanks to a clutch macro decision to get the Elder Drake, followed by a really decisive team fight to close it out. It all came down to the wire, but Rawr came out victorious. And now, getting into Game 2, let's see how picks and bans shape up these new team comps. Thousand Eyes, you ready to go?
I believe so, as we are into the picks and bans. IG now on the blue side, as you can see, and not much changing. Oh, wait, hold up. All right, they have recognized their mistake from before, and will not be making it again.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see if there's another. Let's see if there's another Freljordian god to be banned away in this round 1 of bans here. You know, Anivia was already one. I mean, Volibear is still there, so let's see if they're able to get the coin flip here. Let's see. I'm looking for a Freljordian god. Ooh. That's a Yordle with a cannon. That's not a particular.
That is not a god nor for Freljordian.
Yeah, there's neither Freljordian nor a god, but we'll have to see if Imperial Gaming looks to pick it up, because Peter Griefer, even though was not as influential in a lot of those team fights, like the second that he was, it was really, really impactful, right? There were a lot of fights that they took where Peter Griefer just wasn't there. And by the time Peter Griefer was in the fight to start, it was impossible to kill this Ornn.
I mean,
and
yes, the thing is that they weren't fights that they took without the Ornn. They were fights that got forced on them without the Ornn. And I think that is kind of the bigger thing that I'm worried about, because we're starting to see IG go back to what they were doing before. The Diana has been picked up. We'll see if IG are going to go for a similar composition. The only thing they'd have to switch up is that Ezreal, as they were running the Ashe, so they can actually run everything that they would like to.
Yeah. I mean, the Ezreal was banned away by Rawr here, but Ornn Seraphine? That... God, that's awful. Oh no, that's awful. Oh no. Oh no. This is okay. So Ornhorn is going to come across the team, right? And whoever doesn't get knocked up into the air for a billion seconds is going to be charmed for a billion seconds. The fact that Seraphine instead of Lulu now, that's such a good pickup. And Varus and Rakan are going to be locked in for Imperial Gaming here. And those are some pretty strong picks.
Yeah.
You got to win lane, though. You got to win lane. Varus, maybe might be able to win lane. Varus wants some items.
Varus wants some items, and I think most importantly, though, he wants to get the levels, because he wants to be able to get that Q leveled up so that he can actually start getting that poke down. It does depend if we're seeing the, crit normal 80 carry style of Varus, or if we're seeing the poke. I would assume the poke is going to be what's coming through. Right. As we're seeing Samira being banned, Viego coming through, these are all champions that most League of Legends players hate.
Yes. I mean, Rawr has already drafted a team of insanely powerful picks here, right? Like, Ornn is a comfort pick for Peter Griefer, but Ornn is just a really, really strong pick. Maybe not like what exactly the meta is demanding right now, and apparently the Nocturne is a Sylas ban.
No, I think that's the Samira. Oh wait, no, Nock is Sylas.
Yes,
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. Don't listen to me. Yeah.
So our bans here are Sylas, Kennen, Lulu, and Samira here. So they're expecting the Seraphine to maybe go mid, and perhaps that they're leaving up the support for last here, but that can't be right? Okay, well, it looks like I was wrong, and Seraphine is going into Roadhouse's hands. Roadhouse does have some experience on the Seraphine in the mid lane here. I was just expecting that to go over to Shauna. Shauna plays a lot of mages and enchanters, and the second that I saw Seraphine, I'm like, okay, that's a slam dunk. That's a character that Shauna should be able to play. Easy.
Yeah, you would expect that.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it is going to be the Leona, and I actually kind of like this, because you're giving a lot of gold then to the Seraphine, who's going to make this this Viego very powered up and this Ornn very hard to kill. But now we're going to get a little bit more DPS from Imperial Gaming, something that they lacked in their last composition and look to be lacking for a while here. The Cassiopeia is going to come through, and that is a pick that is going to pressure this Seraphine pretty hard if one wrong move is made. Aphelios is the last pick, though.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing here is that, you know, my question for this team composition was, you know, we have a lot of CC here. Where's the damage coming from, right? Viego's very feast and famine. You know, if he falls behind, he's not going to be doing a whole lot. But Aphelios, that's a character with a whole lot of damage. And even if he falls behind, you know, his abilities are just going to scale up regardless, and he's gaining stats every level. So that's going to be a character that you can be guaranteed will scale into the later game where the Seraphine and Ornn are going to be most powerful.
Yeah, and like you said, the Viego, the Seraphine with the beefed up gold is going to be very potent at just making sure this Viego can dive into that back line and do a lot of work in the, even in the earlier part of the game where you don't really see Seraphine as like the strong pick. Allowing for it is going to make sure that you are getting the aggressiveness from the Viego. And if you look at most of Imperial Gaming, they are very, very much not the strongest in terms of tank. The Gnar has weak points where Viego will be able to go in, and that is the beefiest member they have.
Yes, agreed. And Rakan can build tank, but a lot of the time he's what League of Legends like to categorize as a catcher, which I found out the other day is what they describe someone like Thresh and apparently Zyra, because they have no other word for it. So it just means that he's not exactly a tank. He can build tank, but he's mostly going to be looking for utility items. He's going to be building probably a Shurelya's. He's going to look for a Zeke's. He's not going to be building, like, say, a Sunfire Aegis or a Force of Nature, right? He's not going to be going for straight damage. He might not even build a Knight's Vow. You know, that might be one item that he picks up, but, like, Shurelya's and Zeke's are arguably his most important items.
Yeah. The Shurelya's and the Zeke's going to help out a lot to make sure that Aphelios is actually, you know, a threat come into that late game. And the longer it takes for IG to get a lead, the more that Rawr is going to be just sitting there rubbing their hands ready to get into this later game where we get those same kinds of team fights. When we looked at the compositions last time, Rawr had a great front to back team. It was just not really played to perfection every time. But when they got it, that Anivia did a lot of work. That, you know, just great style of pick composition combined with the ability to kind of team fight. As long as it wasn't that engage wombo combo, Rawr was fine, and it's going to be very similar this time around as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think the big thing for me here is now this Cassiopeia. I think is really, really good pressure up against the Seraphine here for the laning phase. I think Cassiopeia was the recipient of some buffs in 11-15, which does make her laning phase just a little bit better because the base damage on her Q, excuse me, is just 10 damage higher across the board. So that's definitely going to be very, very irritating for the Seraphine if she gets too close. A poison plus a bunch of Twin Fangs on the E there, that's going to be a whole lot of damage that Seraphine is not going to really be able to deal with. And, you know, in these early levels, that's where Seraphine is at her weakest.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And Cassiopeia is one of those champions that can get really, really off the rails in those kind of 1v1s if you give the opportunity over to her. It's just kind of, she also can get punished very hard because of her lack of mobility. And you have a Viego who can punish people who get way too far up and play too aggressively. So I really would like to see if Imperial is going to recognize that and make sure that they can hover this Cassiopeia so that that aggression can then be, you know, just backed up to make sure if Cassiopeia is going to play aggressive into the Seraphine, that you have the protection that you are required. As if it is not there, Cassiopeia is going to get just completely shut down, and Diana is going to be farming and not doing anything.
Right, for sure. It's gonna be very, very important for sure. I wanted to take, man. There's, I guess
What's on your mind, Shinkari? Tell me.
I mean, I'm just trying to think about these lane matchups here. Diana's gonna have a little bit of a harder time in the jungle. Not gonna be clearing as quickly. I don't think the nerf in the previous patch was as bad as we made it out to be. You know, it's just, you know, from 200% to 150% on the passive damage to monsters. So she's gonna be a little bit slower.
Yeah.
I think Frozen Turd piloting the Nocturne means that Diana kind of plays similarly in the early game, where she's just kind of more reliant on these auto attacks in order to deal her damage. And so I think Nocturne and Diana have very similar clearing methods, and so, and then even similar styles as well, as we get kind of later into ganks and later into the game as well. So Frozen Turd on this Diana doesn't really like shock me too much. Should be fine. I think the big thing here for me is seeing this bot lane, because usually when you see Rakan, you want Xayah to go with him, because that combination is just insane. Varus has been popping up in the LCS recently, but I don't think he's going to really have the space in order to be effective. Leona is very, very strong at these early levels, and Varus doesn't really have any sort of way of peeling Leona off. So it's really on Rakan to really give Varus the space that he needs in order to be successful in this lane.
Yeah, and it's going to depend on how Leona plays this, because if Leona does go in at the wrong time and then not stun up the Rakan, the knock-up can come through from Rakan, give the space for Varus to back up and turn that fight back around. Aphelios does not have a lot of opportunity to follow up on a Leona dive if she goes too deep. So the biggest thing really is trying to get onto the Rakan, or basically just trying to utilize the pressure and keep Varus and Rakan, just keep Varus farming with that Q and not allow him to actually get up safely. The longer that Varus is able to kind of just get more and more poke onto the Aphelios means that Leona is not scary, because she goes in and she just dies.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, we're going to take just a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of Game 2 of Rawr versus Imperial Gaming. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by Thousand Eyes. We are on the Rift for Rawr versus Imperial Gaming. Rawr is on the red side. Imperial Gaming is on the blue, and we're in Game 2. Let's see if Rawr is able to close out this series or whether Imperial Gaming will be able to take us to a Game 3. We got a 5-point start. We have some interesting picks with the Cassiopeia and the Varus, but we'll have to see how this game plays out. Thousand, are you ready?
Yeah, I am ready. We have no technical issues this time around, thank goodness. And this should be a much smoother game than last time.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely better on the quality end, better in possibly the mechanical end, but definitely going to be still more great League of Legends. I'm excited to see this Viego pickup on Kessen. He was really good on the Lee Sin and has been practicing that Viego a bit, so we'll have to see how he plays this matchup here. I'm really excited to see Poopsock on the Aphelios. I love Aphelios. He's my favorite AD carry. He doesn't have to do a jump, a spin, and a flourish every single time he swaps his weapon, but you know what he does?
He just feels himself. He's just feeling good.
It's literally the funniest thing about his entire character. Like, he's so extra. Like, even every time he fires the weapon, he like has like a little bit of an extra flourish every single time he does it. Like,
yeah,
it's so funny to watch.
It's because he just wants to. He's just absolutely enthralled and enraptured by his favorite band Green Day and how lively their performances are, that he just wants to be. Are you
making fun of one of my favorite bands right now?
I'm not making fun of them. They're legitimately
You're directly in front of my salad with your backhanded sarcastic compliment.
It's not a backhanded sarcastic.
It Green sounds Day like it. It sounds like
they're
it.
They're just very active and like flashy when they play.
Okay.
So is it? That's not meaning they're bad.
I won't stand for
Very
sarcasm or slander
Shinkari.
of Green Day. I will not stand for this slander. Green Day's a good band.
I never said they
die
weren't.
on this hill.
I never said they weren't. You're making a problem where there isn't one.
Regardless, we do have some pretty good trading across the map here. No one's really taken any sort of huge lead just yet, but Cassiopeia being able to stack up this tier so quick, that's really huge.
Absolutely. It's gonna make it so much easier. There is actually, I'm curious here too, as I bump my mic. One of the things that that I did see as I was watching some of the Ooh, we got
wait a minute, we do have a gank onto actual bird here.
Flash.
He does have the brittle. Tessin wasn't able to grab that proc here, but had to use the flash from actual bird here in order to get away. Blue team is roaming up for this scuttle. They're going to be able to grab it. That is a 1-for-1. Frozen Turd is not going to get double scuttled this time.
Absolutely. One game was enough.
One game was enough.
Yeah, as I want to finish my point, I was watching some of the Academy games and saw Cassiopeia did get picked up, and the build was very interesting. It was Riftmaker into a Frozen Heart. Just made Cassiopeia very tanky. You still had the tier, so you had the mana, but it was just a lot of beefiness and healing and very tough to actually take her down. As Viego's going for another gank, Actual Bird does not have the flash this time around.
Yeah, he's real far forward. Gonna get knocked into the air. There's the brittle.
Goodbye.
There's the stun. Actual Bird is taken real low here. He's looking for the Mega Gnar activation to maybe save him, but first blood is going over to Kessen on the I was going to say on the Gnar for a moment, but I know he's Viego. He's just masquerading as the very small Yordle for a moment.
Yeah. So I like to believe that Viego transforming into the other characters is actually more just akin to the Spy from TF2, where he's not actually changing. He's just putting a little paper mask on his face and doing what those champions do anyway. And
I like to imagine that Viego is like a cosplayer and he brings around like a whole wardrobe with him. And then every time he kills someone, he's just like, quickly, bring me my Rawr cosplay. And then we're going to have to put that on the second as Sean is going to dive in onto Rin here, taking incredibly low. Viego's waiting around the corner here, but he's so far away, forced to flash away. Rin, they're still looking for more. The heal is going to keep him alive for just a little bit longer. And now How I Met Your Table is going to try to turn this around as, wow. Yeah. Diana and Cassiopeia sneak the dragon right underneath Kessen's nose.
They just get like, wait a minute, that's right over there. We got bamboozled. Like a super actual bird now gonna get some trading and
we got tricked.
Transform.
We got bamboozled.
we got Schmeckledorf.
Possibly got. I can't remember the last one. Was the last one bamboozled? Speckledorfed? Schmeckledorfed.
That's not even a word, and I agree with you.
That's not even a word, and I agree with you.
So yeah, good job actually for Frozen Torrent and Azure Fire to kind of just have the cojones to sit there and keep taking that dragon, knowing that their bot lane was going to get out of that okay. Yes, there were some significant summoners burned for that, but it's not the end of the world. You do get a good mountain dragon, which is going to help your team a lot when you're looking at the Rawr and just the amount of resistances that you're going to want to have as this Viego and this Ophelia start tearing through you.
Yeah, I mean, really, we have to pay attention to how this Aphelios is going to be scaling. Real strong late game champ, and you know, in these kind of early levels, really is dependent on what weapons that he has available to him in order to like stay in the lane for as long as possible, but definitely doesn't have an early advantage kind of like Varus does. But Peter Griefer gonna knock up Actual Bird into the air. There's the exhaust coming down. Actual Bird is going to turn into Meganar, but gonna dash right back in. Kessen's gonna put on that cosplay, and now he's just a very small, angry Yordle.
Yeah, he's a tiny boy who throws a boomerang and screams. And now that's really terrifying. Because not only is Actual Bird struggling against this Ornn, who is going to scale incredibly well, but Viego has multiple kills. And now Diana
have a death to his name as well as Frozen Turd getting a decent chunk of damage. Kessen's going to smite the blue buff in order to get a little bit of HP. He's going to be able to find the kill onto him now. Now he is Diana. Can they find the kill on Azure Fire here? There's no Seraphine to cut them off, so it looks like they're going to be able to get it through the to the end here. Cassiopeia is coming along, looking to see if they stop by. Rin can find the knock-up on a poop sock here, but not really going to be able to find anything as the red-white has come to party. That is the really good Aphelios gun combination that you're looking for.
The saying goes, red-white don't fight, or red-white good night. Are there? Can we Dr. Seuss this? What other?
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but Shannon's going to dive into How I Met Your Table here, and Rin's going to use this as an opportunity to dive onto How I Met Your Poop Sock. Is taken incredibly low, but the exhaust is good. That's going to be the solar flare coming down. They're diving onto Rin. He's taken incredibly low. Poop Sock is going to be able to find a kill. That's one kill a piece to the bot lane. Frozen Turd still looking for more. Poop Sock does have the red gun, so should be able to heal a little bit here. Shannon's going to walk up, throw down the stun, block Frozen Turd here. A little bit of damage from the aftershock as well. Poop Sock is nowhere to be found, and that is the worst kind of Poop Sock that there can be.
I never want to hear those words again.
Yeah, the worst kind of Poop Sock is the one you can't find. Yeah.
Golly. Okay. I want to not feel cursed and terrible, so I'm going to talk about what happened there. Unfortunately, How I Met Your Table did not listen to the wise words of the League of Legends gods and said, red, white, time to fight. Went in, and it looked like it was going to work out. The problem was that after the ult, there was no follow-up cooldown. You can't make a play like that as Varus unless you have the cooldowns up to do so. That is one of those times where you will, flash forward alt and then E as you get the pop from the passive on the W there, and then hit 3 times Q. That is your burst combo there. And unfortunately, the cooldowns were not around for How I Met Your Table to actually pull that off, and that bit them really freaking hard on top of the exhaust coming off very late. So now Aphelios is doing well. Bot lane and top lane doing well for Rawr this time around. And now this is a really tough spot for Imperial Gaming. They're already down 1-0, and they're falling behind very early against a late game scaling team comp.
Yeah, this is not where you want to be, especially if you're this comp here. Like, you know, if Seraphine and excuse me, Aphelios here do better with the more levels that they have, and Ornn as well, like we've said a bunch of times already. Sure, Cassiopeia is going to get more powerful, Varus is going to get more powerful, but if they're behind this race to the late game fantasy is in the red team's favor right now.
Yeah, and now you can see there is the soul. It is the Cloud Soul this time around. And Viego's going to enjoy that one. Try to think what else. I guess Cassiopeia would like it.
Yeah.
Varus probably a fan of it. Rakan obviously really enjoys it. But ultimately, this is not the greatest soul, especially if you are looking for Rawr to get this win, because getting a bunch of Infernal Dragons would be great for this Aphelios and the Viego.
Yeah, for sure. Here is Azure Fire throwing down. Yeah, it seems like they have a swap. This is interesting, but Peter Griefer calling down the Ornn Horde here. Peter Griefer taking incredibly low, but the burst damage coming in from, oh my gosh, from Kessin was so insanely good. That Cassiopeia was there for one moment, looked like she was going to be able to find the kill on the Ornn, and then just died the next second. Poof, gone.
Call an ambulance, but not for me. Peter Griefer said, as it was actually more just call the jungler, and it was for him. So yeah, Peter Griefer, yeah, that was a good turnaround there, and knowing the limits as now, unfortunate.
Actually, we're not going to be able to find the stun into the wall, but so much damage onto Roadhouse here. Frozen Turn might have found Shanna, but Kessin is waiting along in the wines.
No,
that is so much CC, so much damage, and now Poopstock is dealing with the purple-blue. It's not a good combination, but it still does damage. Azure Fire is looking for the stun, can't quite find it. Shot is taken incredibly low. The DOT is going to be able to find the kill here, and that's going to be Poopstock finding a kill over the wall with the purple gun. That is real good. That's a 1 for 2 in the bot lane in favor of the red team.
Yeah, and Frozen Turn going in on that Leona is questionable, because what are you going to accomplish with that? In a best case scenario, you take some of Leona's health down before she gets away. In a worst case scenario, you get what happened there, where Viego is around, and now you're in a 1v3 situation, or at the best a 2v3 situation, where you're already behind the champions that are coming to get you. So a little bit of just a not kind of paying attention, or not thinking about the risks versus the rewards of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and take a look at, I know the vision isn't exactly what it was before, but Rin is now moving around getting this vision. Before, Rin didn't have a whole lot of vision of the river. Kessin had been going around clearing wards with the pink wards, and Rin didn't have a whole lot of vision of the rest of the map there, so kind of made a blind decision to kind of go in on the Leona there. Also, How I Met Your Table is nowhere nearby. I think we're just kind of compounding the issue of, yeah, that wasn't exactly a good engage, and then the rest of the team kind of had to follow up on the bad one. Yeah.
let him be.
Yeah.
Have hit the 14-minute mark with Rawr sitting 3,000 gold flat ahead, and now looking. You guys don't want to dive in Ornn. That is not okay. Cool. Yeah. They're just pulling.
Looks like they're just putting down Shelly and moving away, as Rin is going to get snared up by Roadhouse here. Yeah, that's an AP. That's an AP Seraphine. You can't just sit there and take damage from her. She actually hurts.
So it's a bit late.
Over the blue team.
The Rift Herald pull there being a bit late, did not get the tower plating, which is a little unfortunate, but it is still first tower, and that is nice and good. But now Rawr going for another engage.
Yeah, that's going to get a good charm onto Seraphine here, taken incredibly low. The last bit of damage is coming across. The Seraphine ultimate used, but they're not able to find a kill. Horn was used in the top lane, but actual Bird is not going to be able to survive all that damage. Kessin is now 4-0-3. We talked about Viego being a feast or famine champ, and he's at the buffet. He's at Country Kitchen Buffet. He's there for the early bird special. He's gotten already his second helping of pancakes.
Yeah. He's gone to IHOP, Unlimited Pancakes, and we are just going. Shauna, though, using
At
that
30
ult, not
minutes, can
getting
we
anything.
say that he's at a that he's at a Olive Garden for the unlimited breadsticks?
Yeah.
It feels like that's late in the game. That seems like a dinner kind of joke to make. That means to feel like it makes sense. Shauna's gonna dive in on the Rin here. Gonna get a good stun. The rest of the team is here. Oh man, Poopsock just got a billion chakrams. Oh my god. Almost finds a kill on the Rin, flashes over the wall. Gonna be able to find the kill, but dies themselves. Oh man, that's a blue team picking up the double blue buff and gonna be able to grab up the Cloud Drake as well. Rin just got a little too greedy, but the rest of the red team is here to collapse. Peter Griefer does dive in onto How I Met Your Table, but you're not as tanky as you were in the previous game. You're taking incredibly low, going to be able to find the kill. Kessin is now Cassiopeia, but that does mean you're incredibly squishy. Going to find the kill here. Roadhouse is looking for something to turn this fight around in their favor, but Frozen Turd does not die this time. Now they're going to pick up the Cloud Drake as well. This is a huge pickup for them. 3 for 1. Real big.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that I see a lot of gold teams make mistakes around. It is just the fact that they see, you know, one thing go bad and they say, well, we need to make up for that. Like, one of our teammates died, but they got somebody else low. So we need to try and make up for that and fix that problem. And then you saw Poopsock go super hard, flash in to kill a support as a fed Aphelios, and just gave that shutdown over. When you lost the Leona there, that should have just been the, okay, we just kind of lost that fight, whatever. We take the small loss, but we still have the lead. It is the, once again, the lack of understanding of risk versus reward on what you're doing and just saying like, well, I can kill this person, let me flash in. Yeah. Without thinking what comes next.
No, I'm not owned as I shrink and turn myself into a snail. Is the drill tweet I'm thinking of right now as you go through that whole explanation. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I have no context on this.
What? It's a drill tweet. It's just, you know,
what
it's
is
just
a drill
nonsense.
tweet?
You'll get that. Well, you'll have to look that up for yourself. Drill tweets are great. They're just random nonsense. One of them is no, I'm not owned. I'm not owned. And then as I slowly slink into a snail. I'm surprised you're around our friend group and you've never heard of drill tweets, as Shauna is going to get the initiation on to Rin here. That's going to be the solar flare as well. The Ornhorn comes across. How I Met Your Table is going to be knocked into the air, but that's a huge Gnar ult. Actual Bird trying to turn this around for their team, but the whole team has finally showed up and they're all dead, and that's a huge Seraphine ultimate. They're going to try to turn this around with the Diana, trying to make 1 for 1 as best they can, but Poopsock just does so much damage. That's going to be the Aphelios Q coming across. How I Met Your Table is going to try to get away from this, but that's going to be Viego picking up the last kill here. That's an ace for the red team. That is 3 for 5.
Yeah, and while it was a good Gnar ult, it was not enough. The encore from the Seraphine, as well as the damage coming down from Poopsock. Diana once again diving deep for a kill on the tank. That's not gonna get your team the win in the fight. You're using your cooldowns on somebody that is already gone and not a threat to your team, and the fight is not legitimately fully won. So
yes,
you've got to make the better, you know, target decision there and go in. It was a great Diana ultimate, but Ornn frontlining very hard, getting out at just the right time, and then Poopsock also able to get a lot of free hits down. We saw How I Met Your Table was not getting hit very much, but it is the poked Varus. It is not the best in these full-on team fights. The DPS just is not there, and I think that fight really showed that better than anything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Varus. Oh, wait, Cassiopeia, Azure Fire might have been able to find Roadhouse here. That's a whole lot of damage. Those twin fangs doing work. That's gigantic.
Okay.
What a real good pickup for Cassiopeia there.
That Seraphine was kind of side-eyeing that one. I feel like that one didn't seem like it was actually a full-on face-to-face look there. But I guess if you are Azure Fire, you do take that one. Peter Griefer now taking a lot of damage. This is the power that the Gnar has against the against the Ornn.
Yeah, here comes the Ornhorn as well. Peter Griefer is real low. They're gonna get knocked into the air, but that Ornn is gonzo. That's gonna be a kill going over to the Diana there. That's a big pickup for them. That's gonna open up this Gnar to kind of free push in this bot lane. Gonna probably grab themselves another turret. The gold is really evened out now. It's only ahead by about 600 gold, which at this stage of the game isn't a whole lot. That's not a whole lot of gold right now. So being able to grab this turret here could be a big chunk of gold for the blue team.
Yeah, and taking a look at where a lot of that gold is, a lot of the, like a decent amount of that chunk of gold that they have there is actually on the support here. 1,000 gold on Shauna versus or 1,000 gold lead on Shauna versus Rin. So that is not where you want to see the most gold differential going on.
Yeah.
Viego also doing very well, but this Cassiopeia is, you know, as expected, getting more gold fed into her than the Seraphine. But like it is at a point where these power spikes are very scary. The Cosmic Drive is there, the Leandries is there. Ornn is gonna get burned down at this point by this Cassiopeia.
Yeah, Cosmic Drive is a very strong. I mean, I am of the opinion that that item is super underrated. I feel there's like a lot of folks that just don't build it. It just gives so much ability haste and movement speed that that's pretty much useful on pretty much everyone.
Yeah,
it's huge, and all you need is like 160 ability power. That item
also
gives you like half of that already.
Yeah, and it's actually like, as somebody who did play, I'll get to that later.
We're gonna have to put oh no. Oh no, that Ornn Horn went in the wrong direction, but that Solar Flare was good. The Seraphine ultimate even better.
No.
But How I Met Your Table is on the back of this team fight, has not been touched quite yet. The Chains of Corruption is going to stone out Peter Griefer here and going to give free reign for Frozen Turn and Actual Bird to really go run rampant in the red team right now. Trying to find a kill on the Frozen Turn, doesn't land the stun. Can they turn it around? Q comes across, the shield is good, and the ace comes out for the blue team. That is a 4-for-1, a 5-for-1 in favor of the blue team. Now they're going to pick up the Cloud Drake. That's a gigantic win for them in this team fight. They're now up 1.7k gold in this game.
IG getting a huge win off of that one, and a lot of that was off Peter Griefer missing that Ornn ult, sending it backwards. That completely changed the direction of this fight. It gave the opportunity for Ornn to run in, and because they weren't knocked up by the Ornn, it gave the Gnar opportunity to push in on everybody, and because the Ornn ult did not hit, the Encore was not able to hit multiple people. It only hit the Gnar, who then immediately transformed and hit a good flash Gnar onto multiple people, stunning everybody, and then both the Diana and the Gnar just chased Poopsock down constantly. I did not actually see where Kessin was for most of that fight, but it was just not anywhere near enough, did not get those resets down. And now suddenly it is IG with the lead in this game against, we were talking about, this was a late game scaling composition that got a lead early, and they've started to throw it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and there's not a whole lot of like gigantic power spike items being built on the enemy team here. Like, sure, Cassiopeia has the Cosmic Drive, but hasn't turned that Tear of the Goddess into a Muramana yet, or excuse me, an Archangel Staff. And this, or I guess it's Serene's Grace. I don't remember what it's called. Regardless, and Varus has only now built the Mana Moon that now needs to scale into the Muramana. There's not like any sort of like gigantic items on these teams yet, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and a lot of these were purchased after that last team fight as well. So, you know, now we have to see how the rest of this team. I mean, I doubt that Peter Griefer is going to make that sort of mechanical error again. I highly doubt that's going to. That seemed like a fluke to me, and I still think that the red team are in the driver's seat, even though they're down in gold a bit. I think that Peter Griefer just, you know, that was just a fluke, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely was just a slight misstep, not something that was that I think would really ever happen again. But it is definitely one that I think Peter Griefer is going to be kicking himself about, because that sucks. You know that you are the reason your team lost that fight, and now you are a little bit on the back foot here, as Soul Point is now going to be on the table for IG.
Yeah, I mean, IG did lose the previous game with the Dragon Soul here, so we'll have to see. I mean, a lot of these games come down to the wire, and maybe it'll happen again. That even though IG looks like they're ahead, they could have one fatal mistake in the late game that leads them to losing the game, and it really comes down. It might actually come down to that.
Frozen Toad not paying attention to where that word is.
Yeah,
Just gonna I'll let that
I've
one
word
slip
like
by.
3 times, I'm fairly certain.
No, the other times was nearby, but didn't actually get vision on it. But that
Okay.
time
No,
definitely would
that's
just
fine.
walk straight by it.
Yeah.
Right now, things are slowing down, and while that generally would be in favor of Rawr, right now IG are just looking to try and get this soul. The soul is going to be up in a minute, and that is going to force Rawr to take the fight, essentially. They basically are going to have to fight it, or just concede the fact that they are going to give away a Cloud Soul over to a team that has a Rakan and a Shirelius. Yeah. And that's not something you generally want to do.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is I think this team, I know we had a discussion about it earlier. I think this team really likes Cloud Drake. I think this team is 100% about this Cloud Drake here.
Yeah.
Rakan, Diana, even Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia having movement speed means she doesn't have really any form of CC outside of her ultimate, right? Which she uses defensively.
Yes.
If she wants to stick to a target, she needs that extra movement speed. That's why she picked up the Cosmic Drive.
Yes.
That's why she's running Phase Rush over Conqueror. And now with the Cloud Drake, she can now very easily stick to her targets. And that's the biggest thing
Well,
here. That's
not
the
only
real- that's the real big thing
just
about
stick to targets, but also just peel herself away. She can ult and immediately get away. That both Varus and Cassiopeia get a lot of value out of that. So they're going to be able to, like, Cassiopeia has a lot of built-in move speed on her kit. You're talking about, her Q. When she hits somebody on with that Q, she will get the move speed towards them. She'll get the move speed from the Cosmic Drive. Her passive gives her, a pretty solid advantage in terms of move speed. Right now, we're seeing the engage. Actual Bird needs to go in now.
Yeah, that's not the greatest Gnar. That's a good Seraphine ultimate. Gonna get 2. Here's the Ornhorn coming across, but not gonna be able to knock anyone into the air this time. But the blue team is melting. Look at Rin. Look at Poop. Look at Poopsock go. That's gonna be the Viego ultimate coming across. How I Met Your Table is the only member left, and now he's trying to turn this around as best he can, but that's a clean ace. 5 for 0. Red team picks now up the Cloud Drake, and they can move over to Baron if they want. The world, the map is their oyster, and they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and a lot of that is just missteps from IG because they went too far in. They said, okay, I'm getting big. I am Big Gnar. This is fight time. Push Shirelias, here we go. But they didn't think about how hard it's going to actually be to engage on that when you have the Seraphine to move speed buff everybody and get out, and then you just chase into this corner where so many ults can just stop you. The Ornn ult will be able to hit you in that corridor. The Leona ult, the Encore, it gave so much safety. There was no opportunity to get in on the Aphelios. And while, yeah, Varus was able to hit, once again, we saw the weakness that this lethality Varus will have. It is that terrible time with the DPS in comparison to this Aphelios, who now has an Ornn item alongside the Viego. They're going to be shredding through this team.
Yeah. Not to mention, he's also sitting on a Wit's End as well, which gives him a decent chunk of resistances against 2 big damage dealers on the blue team, the Diana and the Cassiopeia, in addition to his own kind of self-preservation, I'll say, self-healing. The red weapon, which he constantly is looking for when he's trying to do these team fights, is possibly just a huge chunk of self-healing in addition to all of the attack speed that he has as well. So it's going to be real tough to actually lock down and get onto this Aphelios and then kill him for these AP champions, especially if they're trying to get through Seraphine, Ornn, and Leona.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too is just picking your fights carefully. Like, okay, fine, Gnar doesn't get the engage with the big Gnar at that point. I think you just have to accept that fact. You cannot force it like that, or you're going to put your team in a bad spot.
We'll have to see. But now the red team, they got this Baron buff, and they're running down the mid lane here. 4 members all together now looking for this turret. They're probably going to just play Protect Seas with these with this cannon minion back here for a bit as they wait for the next wave. But this is going to be super important for them to get as much value out of this Baron buff as possible and end this game relatively quick.
Yeah, I feel like this is not the call here. I feel like you want to take this Viego onto a side lane and just have him split push. You know, the more you spread out this team, the less they're going to be able to deal with this Baron. They don't have... Yes, okay, they've got the Rakan and the Gnar there. That is a solid form of engage, but you play around that. You play respectfully around that and let Viego split push because nobody can 1v1 him at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough as, you know, I think the big thing here is like Roadhouse is the only person with teleport on the team available to him. Peter Griefer, that's heal barrier. That is heal barrier. There is no teleport on that Ornn right now, but that's going to be Keston finding the stun onto Rin. Maybe able to turn this around using the quickening to try to get away. Ornn coming across, going to find the knock-up onto 2 huge important members here. Actual Bird is going to fall as well. Diana's trying to dive onto the backside, but is going to have to do a 4v1 in order to do it. Has gone golden, looking for the kill on the poop side, but not going to be able to do it this time. Rin is the only member left. 5 members of the red team still alive, marching it down the mid lane, looking to end it.
Yeah, they want to end this game now. They want to just use these massive death timers, and that is going to almost assuredly be a Rawr victory as the turrets do go down. And just great job by Rawr, not over engaging in most circumstances. They had a little bit of of some oopsies here and there, but ultimately I cannot really say a lot of bad things. I think IG blubbed here and there, and Rawr effectively took advantage of those mistakes.
Yeah, 100% agree. This was definitely an upset. We came into this game and we said Imperial Gaming, they are the favorite to win this matchup here. They're number 2 in our power rankings. They're very strong. They have a very good, consistent effort amongst them. They have a team that scrims a lot together up against Rawr, who seems to be as good as the 5 people they bring to whichever 5 people show up. You know, they had, you know, they're number 8 in our power rankings about, and you know, they sometimes struggle to close out games, but this was a completely different Rawr that we saw today. This was really good. They were very good throughout. They had a very good level. They had a very good game 1, even though they fell behind. They were able to get 2 decisive team fights towards the end and were able to close it out. And here they were able to just capitalize on so many mistakes that Imperial Gaming did throughout the game, and were able to win through that.
Yeah, and I mean, I do want to give credit. There is like, the game is about mistakes. So like, saying that they just capitalized on mistakes makes it sound like they didn't do much and they were handed the victory. That's not what happened. You have to actually punish the mistakes that are being made by the other team, and Rawr did that incredibly well. I would like to see them play a game where they are kind of the tempo pushers and are the ones actually making things happen, because it felt like Imperial was kind of in the driver's seat for a lot of these games, even when Imperial was behind. So I would like going forward to see Rawr experiment and get to a point where they can play compositions where they are the ones controlling the speed of the game. Because if they are able to do that as well as punish mistakes, then Rawr is an incredibly terrifying team to go up against.
Yeah, for sure. If we continue to see this kind of play from Rawr for like the rest of the season, then this is a very strong team that you have to keep your eyes on. They're now 2-0 in the league, and we'll have to see how they do. But that's going to be it for us this evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. From myself, the entire live broadcast crew, Thousand Eyes, my co-caster and producer for this evening, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, press that follow button. It really helps us out, especially onto our main channel as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.